it literally is as big as this thing and weighs, oh gosh.
Because you have to take
5
high
tons.
RPM and turn it into high torque.
You have to take
Right.
low RPMs and turn into high RPMs.
Oh wait, or which way are we going with it? The
Well,
regular?
here's the deal. Consider this. If you had a car and you jacked up the rear end and you took the rear tire and you tried to spin the engine,
So you're going the wrong way.
you're going the wrong way.
I'm with you. Yeah.
In fact,
That's
you're
what
going
we're
from
doing with these
150
things? Oh, gee.
RPM
Yeah,
up to 3,000.
3,000.
Okay? Now, that is about as wrong as you can
It's
get.
backwards.
So,
Yeah.
the guy from Finland says, "Oh, we found a way to get it down to $375,000 US." And I'm like, "Really?"
Yeah.
So I ask, I've heard you've made some improvements in the efficiency of this machine. What's the efficiency of this transmission? He says, "Well, it's come down dramatically
He didn't answer
from
you, did he?
76% to 51%." And I just had to like bite my lip and say, 51% you're giving away?
Yeah.
Why? It's wind.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jesus. So what we did was this. Huntsman and I, we walked around the corner and we just kind of laughed with each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
We didn't want to make this guy feel bad because he's
Yeah.
probably going to be making our parts in the future.
Right.
So what we did was this. We figure that by completely eliminating a transmission, we're going to save 20 tons of weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to save at least $375,000 off of every
Cost
one of these
issues
things.
are outrageous. Yeah.
And then we don't need other big bearings. They've got the propeller, then they've got this massive SKF bearing that's like this tall. It's an amazing
And that's
piece of work.
expensive just by itself. Yeah.
That's expensive.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a very practical guy, okay? Today's 1 megawatt machines, and now they're making 2, 3
Yeah.
megawatt.
Yeah.
The 1 megawatt machine weighs 100 tons. Ours weighs 4.
Jeez. I understand 4%.
16 moving parts?
This one's got 18.
That one got 8.
Well, actually, most of them have 18 moving parts.
And GEs. Oh, come on. The gearbox itself.
Thousands.
Yeah.
Let's talk about one of GE's parts that I'm very covetous of, okay?
Okay.
The blades.
Yeah.
These blades are frickin' amazing, okay? They're 120, 150 feet long on some of the really big generators. When was the last time you saw a 120-foot long yacht? It's swinging 3 yachts
Yeah. Yeah. In the air.
in the air by relatively like 100
And
bolts.
connected by,
Bolts right
That's
on the
pretty
end.
amazing, actually, that they were able to do.
Well, I know, but to tell you
Not
the
that it's
truth,
very
I
efficient, but-
just don't think that's too bright.
No.
Because I know this guy,
Amazingly
his
inefficient.
name is Richard, I'll get his last name in a second here, I think Fuller, Richard Fuller. He is a technician who goes out and takes care of the windmills that are in Palm Springs. And every so often he gets a call at 3 in the morning that one of the windmills had a malfunction in its feathering device
Right.
that allowed the windmill to run too fast and to run over 27 miles an hour of
Be in
wind.
trouble.
Okay? Well, what it does is it takes one of the wings and it stretches out the bolts and then snaps them. And it throws it a quarter of a mile.
You got a yacht flying there, basically.
What Richard was telling me was when the blade comes down to the bottom, it gets gravity at the bottom
Right.
plus the rest.
Right.
So when it gets out to the point where it's stretching its bolts,
Yeah.
the last straw is gravity on the bottom that says, for the last minute, I just want you off of there. And then when it unhooks, it goes like that. And it just
Perfect.
goes perfect launch, like a 30-degree up angle when the bolts shear.
Like a trebuchet.
So it goes, whoop, yeah, exactly. It goes way, way out. He says about a quarter of a mile. And then the nose of it goes boom, right in the ground. And he carries a chainsaw in the back of his
cut 'em off.
truck
Oh my God. Cut 'em off.
cut it off at the ground. And then his job is to cover up the hole
Never happened.
so it never happened. And then they get a truck in there and they pull it away.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Instead of 100 tons worth of stuff, 4 tons will do.
Yeah.
And it's 4 tons of strength. When we put this ring on the outside, it does 1,000 things for us. And this is all covered in the multiple patents here and such.
Yeah, yeah.
The ring on the outside works with nature instead of against it. I figure if you're going to spin something, you might as well have a container to spin it in.
Yeah, yeah, the forces go out to that, and that thing carries them.
Yeah, there's nothing stronger than a circle that is also a gyroscope.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's a gyroscope effect, right?
Yeah. So, you know, I listened in college to my science teachers. Obviously, the guys who make three-bladed listened to 1944 ideas of propellers. It just doesn't make sense. Or else they would have them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
no.
would have them. Here's the diff. If we look at this thing here, you look at a blade, the tip of a blade, of a three-bladed out here, is what really does the job.
Right.
Mainly because of leverage. When you have a long beam that goes to the center, when you put a pressure on this, you get leverage working for you out here. It's also working at the highest speed because it's
Yeah.
the longest
Yeah.
distance from the center of the rotation. So this is their absolute best part, and then from about here down, it gets thicker and it gets more angle on it because it's a compromise. This compromise was beautifully worked out by Kelly Johnson back in
Yeah,
1944.
yeah.
He figured out a way to get just the right spread here so that as you get closer to the center and this thing is traveling slower,
Yeah.
and it's also traveling with less leverage,
Yeah.
how do you shape that thing so that it gets the max even though it's a compromise?
Got it. Yeah.
Well, you know what I think? Keep the outside, get rid of the rest.
Right.
Then, look at this thing accelerate. It's got a little tiny wind here that, you know, my hair's not going anywhere, but yet this is. Because this takes the tip and multiplies it times about 1,000
Right.
on the surface area.
Well, it allows you to expand, by putting it on a circumference, it allows you to expand the size of them, so you capture more of your torque, and then you just
Gentlemen,
transfer it into the
what
inside.
percentage of the population of Nigeria is concentrated along coast to coast?
Lagos.
Well, Lagos has 15 million. I mean, along the coast, we have to have at least 50, 60 million. I mean, there's a bunch of people down
So
there.
one,
No,
a third.
Yeah, let's move on to one other point here. I've engineered this so that if you have a metal fabrication shop,
Okay.
you're in business.
Really?
All you need
can
to
set
be
up
able to
local
do is cut metal, drill metal, and assemble with bolts.
She comes from
I'm
Abba
an air
area.
conditioning contractor.
You know what we're talking
Sheet metal
about
workers,
this.
yeah.
A
Yes,
sheet metal
they can
worker.
do it there. They can build them there.
We use
Yeah, my
virtually
brakes and all this, it's just,
yeah, a brake. We actually don't even need a brake. We just need a slow RPM cutter to give us nice burr-free cuts.
yeah,
We need great drills
yeah.
and
Drill
a
presses
bunch of guys with wrenches, because really the rest of it is all the same.
Assembly.
We've settled down on a design
That's what the right
that's such that it's only 18 parts, and other than the fact that we're making a custom extrusion here, you know, we're making a wing, which,
Right.
you know, an extrusion die is 1,000 or 2, and you've got the die, and then after that it's 100 miles of aluminum, okay? So basically,
And it's not a big extrusion machine. I mean,
no,
this is
no,
simple.
our extrusion is going to be like so. The new blades are literally about 2.5 inches long, and there's 9,000 of them on the big ones. So by going with 9,000 blades, making them variable for the speed of the wind, automatic, with a little spring, so that we don't even have to think about it, okay? We just basically put this out in the wind, put a big fence around it so nobody can touch it, and leave it alone for 100 years.